first. And also I heard a suggestion that was made earlier today that abortion tourism will become the norm following on from this legislation.
We're on these amendments now.
Thank you very much.
Minister confirmed it.
Thank you very much.
Please, Senator van Turnhout.
Thank you very much.
The 3 amendments, Senator.
Perhaps the Senator wished to look at the record. I clarified that issue earlier. But just firstly, I'd like to, on these amendments, just say that we've heard a lot about what happened at the hearings, and having been at the 6 days of hearings, what I will say is there was contrary opinion, but there wasn't this idea that everybody agreed. I actually find regrettable. There was contrary opinion, and I said that in my second stage speech, and I think we should be very careful with these sweeping statements. But in regard to the amendments, it has been questioned why are we doing this. We said in 43.3 that we guarantee in our laws, guarantees in its laws. And I know we don't always uphold our constitutional, and we do in our laws, but we have to. And for me, we have to clearly for the X case. It's been raised about the Cosmos case, which I'm very surprised that it was said that Minister Shatter didn't deal with it effectively. I saw it in the Dáil. But actually, in the hearings, we had a senior counsel, a former Supreme Court judge, all who dismissed that. I don't need to study law to know that a High Court ruling on an asylum case does not gazump, I don't have the legal terminology, a Supreme Court ruling. Okay? It is the Supreme Court. I don't need to study law. But what we're on about the issue here is about suicide and pregnancy. And I said at the second stage, and I'm not going to repeat, Chair, because I'm very conscious to let other people in. But actually, I have a difficulty with this section in that we're separating it out from Section 7. This is about risk of life. All through this debate, I've had the feeling, and I think feeling is the right word, that this is about a woman who has certain feelings or thoughts. This is not what we're talking about. We got some very real examples at the hearings. We heard about the woman who is anorexic, who wants to get rid of this. She has taken 3 overdoses. This is not somebody who has just gone to a psychiatrist and say, you know what, not feeling great. Right? We heard about the woman who is pregnant because of incest abuse and this growth inside her. We heard about the woman who's in an abusive relationship, and we have reports to show that when women get pregnant, very often when you're in an abusive relationship, the violence escalates. We heard about a woman being kicked and kicked in the stomach. She did not want this for her child and would want to kill herself. So this isn't about some woman who has this idea of how to circumvent the law, because she's on the plane. She's gone. This is about a risk to life. It's a very rare cases. This is not, for me, the wording that is here is rare. People talk about clinical markers, and I just ask, how do we then commit people involuntarily if there are no markers, if there is no way to diagnose? How do the doctors do that? How do they make that decision? It's a medical practice. Like this idea that, for me, that mental health is not, is not medical. It's physical and mental health, and they're interlinked. And so for me, and I'm going to stop here because I'm very conscious to allow other people, but we heard clearly at the hearings from obstetricians and from many of the psychiatrists, they will always work towards saving lives, both lives. They will work to get fetal maturity is their ideal, viability is the second, if they can't. So that's what they will work towards. These are the exceptional cases that we are talking about here. And I do, regret that there are other issues I would love to have brought up, like the establishment of the review committee and the penalties in Section 22 on the destruction of the unborn, but I'd be raising them at report stage, but I realise a long list of speakers.